Under the Hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
Welcome to the Under the Hood show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Thanks for joining us under the hood.
Don't do that.
Oh, just kidding. Thanks for joining us under the hood.
Shannon Nordstrom is not here this week to do the same.
Really quiet.
He's in the EU working on recycling
The electrical workers
European
union?
vehicles.
Oh, European.
Seeing how they do it over there. He's deep into the industry over there. They're working on stuff. They're trying to get stuff going.
I think he's in the vacation part now, right?
I don't know. I never know. I don't know that there's a difference when
last.
those guys, they do it right. But listen, your voice, if you lose that all the way, we're done. So don't.
We'll do the text-to-speech.
Because don't leave it on me. Your voice, you're having some voice issues, and if you lose it,
We're going to do like the
I'm
old...
playing the music and
Do you
getting
remember
out of here.
Speak and Spell?
Yes.
And Merlin?
Yeah,
I'll just type on my phone and I'll sound
Okay.
like Stephen Hawking over
Good.
here.
Let's we got calls coming in. Let's keep those calls coming in, because without Shannon and with you, Iffy,
We can do it.
We gotta work here. Let's go to Ohio first and talk to Mark. You're on the Under the Hood show. Mark, what can we do for you?
Yes, thank you very much for your entertaining education and helping save the environment. We intend to do that with our car.
Okay.
And I'll keep these to one-word answers to save Russ's voice. We about 8 years ago bought a 2016 Toyota Avalon V6. It currently has only 49,000 miles. We use it 6,000 miles annually. It's parked in an unheated garage. I'd like to keep this for our forever car and need some recommendations. First of all, gasoline additives. Should I be using them? And what do you recommend?
Yes, it's a good idea to keep the fuel system clean, which will keep the back of the valves clean in this car. Super important to keep this car operating properly. Also, it helps clean up the ring lands in the pistons. You'll have some of these cars that have issues with oil burning.
And this is because it's a low mile car, right? I mean, generally, if I'm just driving my car 20,000 miles a year,
you should still run some cleaner in it. You don't have to do it as often.
Okay.
You put a lot of miles on it. I mean, mileage wise, this one you're going to do it more often because it's going to be a time thing more than miles. And yes, short trips, that's real hard on it. And there are there's a few different products we use for that.
The temperature.
Yeah, that's really hard on it. So a solvent based, a solvent type cleaner is what you're going to need to clean that. If you're going into a shop and you've got a shop that's taking care of this car, oil changes, maintenance tune-ups, things like that, ask them about the Justice Brothers products. It's available professionally in the shop, professional service center. That's the way to go. That's what we would suggest. And as far as if you're not in a shop, if you're just driving this car every day and you don't get into the shop for repairs, another one of our partners is BG Products. And BG Products has some over-the-shelf, over-the-counter type products you can use in there.
And if he does have a shop that he brings it to regularly, it's good to ask them what they would use.
Ask them for the recommendations as well. But BG makes a BG 44K. It's also endorsed right by General Motors and Ford as a Motorcraft 44K and an AC Delco 44K, because their manufacturers right there are telling you they recommend putting a cleaner in. It's important to run a cleaner through the fuel system. So that's one thing you can do to keep the car lasting longer.
Okay, I'm changing the oil every 3,000 miles.
Good.
What about oil additives?
That car, you really shouldn't need to do a lot with it, but with any vehicle, because of the buildup we're seeing on piston rings and oil burning on cars, I would strongly suggest using an oil system cleaner. That kind of car, I don't know, you said that with the miles you're putting on it a year, you're still at least one of those oil change. What are you changing it twice a year?
Yes.
6,000 miles, so twice a year. Yeah, I would do it at least once a year. Oil system cleaner in that.
And that is where in his garage He pours it in, drives to the oil change place,
and has them change it.
Yeah.
And it's going to keep that.
Ah.
It'll solvent. It'll clean up everything, and then you can change the oil. Yeah.
Okay. A couple of quick more questions. The manual says change the coolant.
Mhm.
I've used test strips that show it's
Good.
the range is in the high OK range. Should I change the coolant anyhow?
Well, it's 10 years old, so yes, you're at the point where when
Okay.
it starts getting high, it's becoming acidic, and that can start eating things up. So you definitely want to change the coolant in it. And so you've gone 10 years, you might go another 10 years before you need to change it. Those test strips are gold because you test the freeze protection, and then you test for acidity
and the pH.
the acidity, the pH. And if you test that and it's good, there's no reason to change it and waste coolant.
Okay, brake fluid, same thing. I'm testing it with strips, and it's showing okay, no moisture.
If it's okay and no moisture, you don't need to change it as long as it's clean.
Okay, transmission and steering, is there? I assume there's oil in the transmission.
Yeah, it's time to change it.
Steering.
Yeah, it's time to change that
Okay.
transmission fluid, and just look at the steering fluid and see if it looks dirty. If it's clean, you're still good to go. But if it's turning black, then it's time to change it.
One final question. Any lab analysis on any of these fluids?
No, not really. Engine oil, you can do that, but it's only going to tell you that what you don't want to hear. If it tells you that there's metal in it and it's coming apart, well, then you got to put an engine in it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you're fine. Yeah, there's no reason to do that on this car.
Mark, thanks very much for the call. Real quick, I think I know the answer to this because I've asked this of other owners. How much do you love that Avalon?
Oh, I would buy another one in a second.
Everyone I've talked to who owns one has said the exact same thing that they.
You had one.
Yeah, my son has one. Loves it. Loves
Does he
it.
still have that thing?
Yeah, loves it. He loves it. And I think the only reason he still has it is because he wants to get a new one, but they don't have new ones anymore. And I think he loves that car so much. It's one of those things. And everyone I've talked to who's had an Avalon, 100%, they've all said, I wish I still had it. I wish I could get another one because they're just fantastic. Mark, thanks very much for the call. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to go to Texas and talk to Matt.
Giving new meaning to the word hoodie. Shannon and Russ. Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Texas and talk to Matt. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Matt, what can we do for you?
Good morning, Chris and Russ. I'm calling about my wife's 2013 Acura ILX. She had a rough start condition a couple weeks ago that we ignored until it left us stranded. We hauled it off to a mechanic. The mechanic replaced the starter. Car started up fine for about a week, and then the rough start came back. She took it to an auto parts store. They put their tester on it and said the battery needed to be replaced. Replaced the battery, and we went through the same cycle again. About a week, it was good. And then it started up again. I checked the alternator after doing some research on YouTube and noticed there was no charge hitting the battery from the alternator. It was like 12.5 or around there. So we ordered a reman OEM alternator and replaced it. And we did that yesterday. And it seems to be running fine, but I'm not getting a consistent 14 volt charge when the car is running. I took it back to the auto parts store just to have them run a test again, and the car failed. It was at 12.5. Their tool said alternator bad. However, when I turned on the AC and put a load on it, it all of a sudden went to 14 when I got it back home. So I'm kind of confused why I'm not getting that consistent upper 13s, upper 14 volt charge from the alternator on the battery.
Because it's broke.
So
it's computer controlled. Yeah, it's computer control.
Okay.
Oh, it's possible that the alternator is no good, the one you put in it, but it is computer controlled. The computer looks at the voltage by way of the current sensor, and then it adjusts accordingly. So when you turn on loads like the air conditioner, rear defog, seat heaters, it will boost current. It'll ramp it up.
Okay.
So it is possible you have a failed alternator. It's possible you have a failed current sensor. You could even have a computer issue. It will need a little testing to find out exactly which one it is, but I would not be surprised if it's an alternator. For some reason, lately I have seen a large number of aftermarket replacement alternators that the first one doesn't do it. I've seen 3 in a row that to get one fixed. I don't know what's going on there. I believe it's probably it's a diode or something in there, the same part, same manufacturer, that's causing an issue with them. So it's possible you have one like that, and what it's causing is low charging voltage. It's kind of random. So you may actually have a bad alternator. You never know. That's one good thing about used parts. Typically, they're driven to the wreck. They're operating just fine. Otherwise, the car wouldn't be driving, and then they fail. You know, the car fails, and we take the parts off, harvest them, and we're good to go. So that's another option too for that vehicle. At least it's not one that's extremely hard to replace.
No, it's right there at the top. My son and I actually did it, and he replaced the serpentine belt, which was the hardest part of the job. So, is there any way to test the alternator to make sure it's good? Or
there is. You need to have a voltmeter that does more than just volts. It'll be a multimeter that does volts, amps, hertz, Hz for frequency. And then you look at the wiring diagram and you can see what the alternator is getting. You look and make sure it's got a ground, you make sure it's got voltage coming in, and then you look at either, depending on what style alternator you have, you're looking for frequency or pulse width modulation. And then it'll tell you, there's charts in the service manuals, it'll say, to charge at 50%, we need a pulse width modulation signal of this. And the layman's terms on this is, it's simple as you connect your test leads from your meter right to that terminal on the alternator. And if it says, let's say it says 50, pulse width of 50, and it's not charging, then the alternator's bad. But if it says 0 and the computer's telling it needs to be at full charge, which you can know it is because if you look at the dash and see that you only got 11.5, 12 volts, and it's putting out 0, it's not telling the alternator to charge, which is either a broken wire or a computer issue. But broken wires are usually pretty simple as far as the computer will say, hey, we got a broken wire. Yeah. There's an open here. We're setting a code. But if you've got no codes, it could be an issue with that. But it could also be that the computer, when you read your scanner, read the voltage there, because the scanner may think that it's getting a proper charge. The computer may think that it's charging when the car is not. Like, let's say your battery says 12.2 volts, but the computer says 13.5. It's not going to try to charge it, which tells me we got a problem in the computer. A lot of things to absorb there, but yes, they can be tested.
Yes, sir. And I don't understand them all. I'll just listen to this back and do some online searches.
You will when you put this together with what you look at online. You'll be like, now I get it.
Just listening to his first part, you can tell that he can follow through on this next part.
Oh yeah,
you know, that's like the opposite of me.
Well, we don't try to bury anybody with too much stuff that we don't think they'll ever understand. We try to bury them with stuff that they know that we know they can figure out pretty quick.
One more step. Just one more step.
Well, you do that all the time. You're like, I don't. Oh, I get it. Oh, yeah. I know.
Yeah. The garden hose.
Yeah.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Washington and talk to Paul. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Paul, what can we do for you?
Good morning, guys. I have a 208 Chevy Trailblazer, has about 220,000 miles, and I just seem to be going through a lot of catalytic converters. And I heard Russ say the other day that maybe they were getting plugged up with oil, but that was on a different car. So I just was wondering if there something I could be doing, or?
Oh, this will do it too, especially on a Trailblazer. But I gotta know how many catalytic converters.
Right.
I have probably gone through maybe 3 in the last 2.5 years.
That's a lot.
And I went to another shop, and he said, well, they might be putting in a low quality one.
No, that's true.
Possible.
If the converter for this vehicle is less than, let's say, $600, it's a cheap one. They are not cheap. A good one for this, like a Walker or something like that, or a Magnaflow, they're going to be probably $800-900 for a converter. So we got to find out why
I think I'm paying $400.
Oh, I think that's on the cheap end. Wait, especially if that's an installed price, that's bare bottom. This is what we need to find out.
Okay.
Is the converter failing because it's plugged up and has too much back pressure, or is it failing because it's turning the light on because it can't process the gas? Because if it's the latter and it's just not processing the gas and it's giving you a warning light, but it still runs just fine because it's free flowing, that's not oil, because the oil will plug it up. But on a cheap converter, they're very thin, not much metal.
Okay. What happens is that I usually will get a code saying one of the O2 sensors is not reading properly.
Right.
And then my daughter will say, hey, Dad, I'm losing power. I don't have the power I use.
There you go.
Then we'll take it back in, and they'll say, yeah, the catalytic converter is plugged up again.
Yeah, then it's probably burning oil. If it's plugging, it's burning oil, or it's leaking coolant. The coolant you could see because the reservoir is going to go down. But if it's oil,
right,
then that's you're going to burn.
It doesn't have to be much either to plug
No.
it. I mean, you might not even notice.
No, a few quarts will plug one pretty quick. So in a year's time, you could go through, let's say you change the oil 3 times a year and you don't even know it's down a quart. That could fill that thing up, especially on a cheaper converter that doesn't burn as hot. It could plug that thing up. It won't burn up, turn that to ash and burn it out.
So what's Paul's next step?
Well, you're gonna have to look and see when it's pulled off. They'll look and see if there's oil in the exhaust. If it's really grimy in there, you can either keep putting converters on it or get a different engine, move the vehicle along. You could try some oil system cleaner. It depends on what the wear is. You'd have to do a compression test and a leak down test, get a camera in there and see what the condition of the cylinders are. And if you think it looks pretty good other than a bunch of carbon and dirt, you can do a complete oil system flush. BG Products does make a complete system flush that is made to go in place of the oil and clean everything out. That may clean up the rings if it's just a carbon buildup. But if it's a wear issue, there's nothing you can do for a wear issue other than take the part out, put the new part in. You do want to check the PCV system on this vehicle and make sure it's not sucking oil in through the PCV valve, and also that you don't have a ton of extra blow-by. Because if it's got a lot of blow-by, pull the oil cap off while it's running. If it's just blowing air out of there a lot, that's a wear problem inside.
Okay. It does have like 220,000 miles on it. And I do use about a quart every 5,000 miles.
Well, that's not very high.
It's not terrible.
They will usually overcome that. And I don't usually see them clog up a converter with that low of oil consumption. That is a lot of miles for one of those engines. 250 is about max that we see on a lot of those, but could be a while. I mean, you might have a daughter driving through college.
Yeah. I have 5 of them, so it's been handed down to another daughter now. And they all love the car, but I'm tired of having always hearing this problem. Hey, Dad, my check engine light. What now?
That losing power.
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the tell-all right there.
Paul, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
Shannon and Russ have spent their whole lives with their heads under the hood, and that's the way they like it. Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us at the Under the Hood Show. Don't forget, if you miss an episode, you can always find it wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch the show on our social media channels. And if you subscribe to the YouTube channel and join the Hoodie Fan Club at UnderTheHoodShow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Bradley Collins. Congratulations from all of us here under the hood and our friends over at Berkeley One Classics, celebrating 50 years of collector car coverage and Universal Technical Institute. How about a career in automotive technology?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Look it up, see what it's all about, and then go to uti.edu.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Mississippi and talk to Terrell. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Terrell, what can we do for you?
Morning. I got a 2021 Nissan Sentra. Under 50,000 miles, and I'm having problems with the steering rack on it.
Ooh.
Thought it was the inner tie rod in, but that's not it. It's got slack up in the rack, and I've checked with 2 Nissan dealerships. They said they had 0 issues with it. I haven't even found anything on YouTube about it. Y'all having any issues with those electric steering racks?
Those Sentras are very strong. Not quite bulletproof, but close to it. We've only had to put one of those in, and that hit something. It's likely that if this rack has a problem, it has hit something, a large pothole or a curb or something, and damaged the rack internally. But that would be about all that would take one of those racks out. Otherwise, they're pretty good.
She hasn't hit anything, but like I'm saying, it's major slack on both sides. I thought I was missing something,
Yeah.
It's pretty expensive. I didn't want to.
It is,
Yeah.
but there's not much to it. If you've got a problem going on in that rack, if the steering wheel turns fine, and then you got the noise, the only thing in between those wheels and that steering wheel is the rack.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all pretty much self-contained. You replace that, you're replacing everything. You got the tie rod ends, the whole rack, all of it, and all you got is the wheel turning it coming in. So that's a pretty good. And, nothing's foolproof. Even if they say they don't have problems with them and they don't sell a lot of them, they can still fail. Being that they don't sell them because they don't fail, be a great time to pick one up in a salvage yard.
Yeah.
Auto recyclers, car dash part. Look them up. You'll find there's car dash part places in your area there. You'll be able to pick one up there for a whole lot less. I looked up this morning for a Ford Fusion, and they had used racks available. The used rack was way cheaper than the brand new
And
Ford.
the fact that they don't go bad means that the used one's going
People
to
aren't
be
buying
good.
them. They're
And
not coming in to get them, and
two,
they're good.
the cost is going to be really low because
Nobody's buying
nobody's buying them.
them. Right.
Does that help you out there, Terrell?
Yeah, this is electronic. It's not no special programming you have to go on.
I don't think this one does. You'll have to look it up and find out, but I don't think that this vehicle uses that on this one.
Pretty
I
straightforward.
think so.
In and out. There you go. Terrell, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Wyoming and talk to Toby. You're on the Under the Hood Show. What can we do for you, Toby?
I have a 03 Grand Am. I have a misfire on cylinder number 5. I got a new plug-in wire, new coil pack. Did not change the misfire in 5. I swapped coil packs even. So last night we did some more investigating on it. I have spark everywhere. I did a compression check, and I don't have any compression in number 5. So I don't know. We have a little camera thing I stuck down in. I can't see anything in the piston, or hole or anything. But just not sure where to go from there. If I got a valve stuck or a spring broke, or
Well,
just trying to get some.
you check compression, so get yourself a tire valve tool and take the valve out of the end of your compression tester and then stick it back in that hole.
Okay.
Turn the engine until all the valves are closed and put compressed air in that cylinder. put the piston all the way at the bottom, both the valves closed on the top, and then put some air into that cylinder and see where the air is going. If it's going past the piston and coming out the oil dipstick or out the oil fill on the valve cover, then the motor's junk. There's no fixing to that because it's the bottom end. But if it's coming out past a valve, you either have something hanging in the valve like carbon, which can happen, or the valve's burnt. A lot of times it's just carbon. A chunk of carbon is broke off from, lack of fuel system cleaning and things like that. And it's just fallen in the valve and stuck it. And what we do is we'll take the valve cover off and get a rubber mallet, a dead blow rubber mallet, Chris. And we'll tap that valve while we've got air going in that cylinder, and it'll break that loose and seal up, and then the engine runs just fine. Occasionally, if we have an engine, we install a ton of engines here from our auto recycling facility at our shop. And we put them in, we have to put a year warranty on them. And we do that because we know we've tested everything and it's worked well. Lately, I'd say in the last 10 years, it's very rare that we ever have a problem with a stuck valve. But 10 years ago and going back, when we had engines sit longer on the shelf for certain cars, we would often have to, if one was on the shelf for, say, a year and a half, doesn't hurt the engine, but sometimes carbon would settle in these valves, they would stick. So we would put air in the cylinders, tap on the valves, they would seal right up, then the engines worked beautiful after that. A lot of times we do a fuel system cleaning afterwards as well and clean them up. But I think that could be your issue, is you might have a valve sticking, because that's a pretty tough engine in that Grand Am. Just don't see a lot of them with one cylinder that's lost compression suddenly, unless you've broken a valve spring or something, and you can see that by pulling the cover off. But put the air in the cylinder and see where it's going. That way you can say, oh, it's going by the intake valve on number 5. Let's get that cover off and see what number 5 looks like.
Okay.
There you go. Toby, thanks very much for the call. I like when I like that. I like when the solution is kind of a mechanical. It's a step. It's something that you got to do.
It's all testing. You can find it. It's not like it's an electronic, like a computer where you're like, oh God, I can't see inside of it.
Right.
If you can physically see it, this is 1800s technology as far as the mechanical part.
I like that he's like, all right, yeah, I can do that. I wish every caller would do that. I just would feel better at the end of the call if everyone could just go, all right, thanks, I'll do that. It would just make me feel better.
Instead of
going, I don't understand really what that was.
But that's okay. If they're looking for, see, a lot of people will call the show. They know they're going to take it to a repair shop. They're not going to fix it, but they want to get a pretty good plausible explanation of what it could be. So when they go in and they say, it's going to be $6,000, and they say, well, what is it? Oh, I've heard it on the show. Yeah, that makes sense. But if it's completely opposite, they may get a second opinion.
And I don't want to name any names, but there are techs who call the show while they're working on cars that they can't figure out. Again.
And that's okay. I like that.
I don't want to name any names.
I like that. We've been doing this long enough. We got to pass on our knowledge. I got guys that work for me that are great. And I've been told my whole life, if you don't pass on the knowledge that you learned from somebody you were working for, you're wasting your life. You're wasting that knowledge. It's just thrown away. So I try to pass it on if I can. And if they have questions, I want to answer their questions.
Let's talk to Brian. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Brian, what can we do for you?
Hey, guys. I've got a 2015 Subaru Forester. It's my son's car mainly. And he told me he was acting up on the interstate, so I took it out this morning. And when I got up to about 50, 55 miles an hour, the front right end was really, wobbling, or not quite wobbling or rattling, but something bad.
I gotcha.
Like not a good something with the wheel, maybe. I don't know.
We're all gonna die. It just kind of felt like that. Not quite that bad.
I told him not to drive it over 55 until I figure it out.
Oh, so it's maybe we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, time to start looking, see what's going on. Our first step, you bring that into our shop. Our first step would be, okay, it shakes. I'm going to lift it up before I go drive it to see what it's doing. And I'll tell you why after. So we're going to lift it up. We're going to shake everything. Give the shakedown. Nothing's loose. All right. Spin the tire by hand. Watch it. And as we spin it, is that tread hopping up and down? Got a broken belt in the tire. And it was pretty easy fix. We know what that is. If something's loose, we'll get that repaired first. But after we have a good feeling that it's safe because the wheel's not loose, it's not shaking around, it's tight with the suspension, everything looks nice, no rust through, looks safe there, tires look good, then we'll say, okay, now we got to drive it and see what's going on. Maybe we have an axle shaft that's a little out of round and making it shake. Then we'll address those. But we do the look before the test drive.
Because you eliminate stuff right off the bat.
That, and years ago, I had a acquaintance in the automotive world that got in a car because they said it shakes like that. They went to test drive it. They pulled out on the highway, and they just 2-lane highway, and they drove about 2 miles up the road, and it was shaking. A tie rod end fell off, and they drove right into traffic, and it killed the people in both the cars because they drove it. And that's where I learned you don't test drive a car that has something falling off. So, and that's why it's great to have safety shops that will do a safety inspection on your car. You know, hey, I've got a wobble. I got to shake. Something's making a lot of noise. Can you check it out? My steering wheel shake. Sure. And they look at it and they say, your tie rod ends are very loose, ready to come off. We see a number of tie rod ends extremely loose, so loose you could probably pop them off by hand. So check them out.
Did that help you out, Brian?
Yep, I will get it taken in right away then.
Brian, thanks very much for the call. That is, that's because if you go out and drive the car, it's the same as Brian's wobble. The wobble's there. Okay. I believe that the wobble's there. Now I have to figure it out. And you eliminate a few of those right away by looking at it physically.
Yeah. And a lot of times we'll just raise it up and go, oh, yeah, right there. I've seen them come in with a big bulge on the tire where they've hit a pothole and you've got to, and I'll say, well, this tire's, let's put a tire on it first and then see if the rest of the problems are gone away.
Is he going to have to get all new tires on that, or at least on the front?
Subaru, probably. If it needs one tire, it's going to need, well, they might all be worn out already, but if he's got three that are 80% and one that's bad, you can't just put one on it because of the all-wheel drive. You're going to have to replace all four, but don't just give them your old tires that are great. Sell them.
And you'll do, like if I brought mine in and I needed all four tires, you would check your system to see if there was one that would match.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably not gonna.
We can find used ones, but occasionally we will have a number of people will have to do all four tires.
Yeah.
But then if they have three, even 50%, I'll say, you take these. Well, what am I going to do with them? Put them on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Sell them. People with two-wheel drive cars will buy them, or somebody that needs a match for them. They'll buy the one and sell the other two.
And if you go to a tire place, if he goes to a tire place, there might be an amount that they'll give him as credit towards those tires because they can sell those three. Won't be as high as if he sells himself, but
they got to make money.
866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you.
Get under the hood. Call the Motor Medics, 866-594-4150.
Well, he just said it. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Brad. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Brad, what can we do for you?
Hey, guys. Love your show. I'm a faithful listener, have been for years.
Thanks.
So my daughter drives a 1993 Jeep Cherokee XJ with the 4.0. It's got about 213,000 miles on it and actually runs pretty good for its age. And she's recently noticed that there's some jerkiness when she's accelerating up to highway speed. Not necessarily, doesn't seem to be an issue in town. And once she kind of gets rolling at highway speed, 65, 70, something like that, it seems to iron out. So I took it to my mechanic, and they couldn't reproduce it. So and she did say it's intermittent. And so I'm just one of those guys looking for a little bit of maybe some directions on maybe what that might be.
This model vehicle, the way you're describing it, under load uphill, but only occasionally, it will get worse. Sounds to me like it might have an ignition system miss. Coils, the coil boots, yeah, spark plugs, but especially with the miles you're telling me it has on it. Maybe somebody's put some plugs in it over the years. Maybe they haven't. I don't know, but definitely coils. That's a tune-up thing. Our partner Standard makes coils with a boot attached that fixes this whole issue. We used to do tune-ups, spark plugs, spark plug wires, distributor cap and rotor. All that stuff's gone now. We just have a coil and a coil boot as an integrated unit. And they're just not, the original ones are not built nearly as strong as the aftermarket. Standard does a really good job of beefing up that coil to make it last longer. The heat is the problem with coils. It breaks them down, the insulation breaks down, and then that electricity in that coil finds the nearest path to ground, which is right out the side to the engine block instead of going to the spark plug and making it spark. So when it doesn't spark, it loads up with fuel, it misses, it gives a little jerk, and it's usually just uphill, most pronounced at about 45 miles an hour without downshifting. Just give it as much throttle as you can before it downshifts as you're climbing a hill at about 45. That's where you're going to find it. And the reason most cars are at that speed is because of gear ratio and tire size and RPM. They all tend to be the biggest load at about that 2,000 RPM range. 1,800 to 2,000 is where you're really going to get that pressure buildup in the cylinder where it's going to, because of the load, it'll cause it to misfire. Because the higher the load in there, the easier it is for that thing to arc out the side. It says, hey, I can't spark here anymore because it takes more energy to spark, but I can spark out the side and cause a problem. That's why you don't notice it all the time. And also humidity in the air, temperature, all that affects how that's going to happen. You can pull one out. If you pull it out, look at the coil. If it's got chalky gray marks anywhere on it, when you pull it out on the coil or on the boot, it's arcing.
Okay. Just like any
carbon tracking, they call it. Yep.
Does that help you out there, Brad?
Okay. That helps a lot because she did mention on the way out to Newton Hills, there's a hill going out there on the highway, and she said it's really noticeable when she's climbing the hill. And so on a straightaway, maybe you get to that acceleration, that speed you were talking about, and then he would do that, and then it kind of iron out. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. There you go. Brad, thanks very much for the call. By the way, that is one of my life's goals. We talk about this a lot. I know the hill he's talking about. I've decided that wherever I end up, I don't want there to be just a hill that people know about. I want there to be hills, or the lake. I want there to be lakes. That's just, yeah. Do
you like warm weather, Chris?
Yeah,
I'll show you a place in a couple weeks.
I'm iffy on it.
Yeah, I bet.
Let's talk to, it depends. Sometimes I'm okay with it. A lot of times I can't do it. Let's talk to Bruce. You're on the Under the Hood show. Bruce, what can we do for you?
Well, I have a 2013 Dodge Ram pickup with a 5.7 motor. I just bought it, so I decided to change oil, not knowing how many miles were on it. And the filter I took off was probably 6 inches long. The one they gave me was 3 inches long. After driving about 1,000 miles, my engine light come on, and I had it checked out. They said low oil pressure. Well, of course, I take it to my mechanic, and he says the motor's getting weak. Well, that wasn't good news for me, so I did some research, and I found a deal on YouTube that's kind of common with these engines. They need a special filter because they need more, I forget what they call them inside the filter.
Media,
anyway,
different
they
media?
give me a more, yeah, exactly. So they give me a little bit more expensive filter, and it's been running good since. But what filter do you recommend for this problem? Because it sounds like it's pretty common.
Does that sound ring true for you, Russ?
We have not had a problem using either the Wix filter or the AC Delco filters on these vehicles, but I've had some come in with issues just like you're describing, and we changed the oil in them and then checked the oil pressure, and I was like, well, it's fine now that we've changed the oil and put our filter on it. So those two filters, the AC Delco and the Wix, have been working fine for us. I don't know of any other ones I'd recommend because we don't use anything else. I mean, that's what I've got on my shelf for stock. So that should be fine.
Well,
But there are some.
5,000 miles. Is there a chance you can just change the filter when this happens and keep the oil, or do you recommend doing the whole thing?
No, I'd change it. But if you're losing it every time with a good filter, there's something going on in that engine. You've got some wear issues going on. It should just be a matter of one filter every time you change it, same results, not that you got to change it at a certain mileage because it's starting to get an issue. I wonder if you could get a filter cutter, take the filter apart, and look and see what it looks like in there. See if it's getting clogged with something as it's running, and what it is, metal or something else.
Go ahead, Bruce.
On the YouTube video, they said go to the prior year's filter. They didn't have any problems with that filter. So a 2012 filter.
You could try it.
If I bring my vehicle to you, if I bring all my, I've been coming to you for 10 years. You've been working on all my vehicles. You have a filter cutter.
Mm-hmm.
Will you, if Bruce were your customer for 20 years, would you look into this for him?
Oh, it takes me 1 minute to cut the fit. It's laying on my bench where we do the oil changes, and it's like, oh, that doesn't look good.
And is that just if you use a cheap filter, it just doesn't filter as well?
Well,
especially
they
different
all
size.
They all fix them. They can't sell filters. They wouldn't stay in business if they didn't sell good ones.
Right.
But sometimes when they discover there's an issue, so they have like tech bulletins for cars at GM, Ford, Chrysler, whatever, and they say, oh, we have an issue with this filter. We need to redesign it, and they change it. But for a while, they have a problem, and you know how it can be in the news. YouTube will say, oh, every one of these is bad. No, this serial number range was bad for 6 months, but everybody said they were bad, and now they still think they're bad when they never really were. Right. It was just a lot that they built that was, a lot of them, like one box. Not good. And now they're fixed. Otherwise, they couldn't keep selling it because they got to give your money back.
Let's go to Wisconsin and talk to Jason. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Jason, what can we do for you?
Hi, I have a 2006 Jeep Liberty diesel, and I had called a while ago. It sat in the desert for like 5 years in Nevada, and you guys, we talked through what to do to start it up. It started up and ran great, but I got into a small front end accident with it. A guy ran a stop sign in front of me and couldn't get out of the way fast enough. But I'm doing the repairs on that, and it's got 155,000 miles. While I'm repairing the front end, I figured since everything is apart on it, I was going to redo the timing belts on it, or replace the timing belt and the idlers and the water pump and everything. And I just wanted to see if there was anything. I'm going to do it myself. There isn't a shop anywhere around me that wants to even touch it, and so I'm going to do it myself. It doesn't look terrible to do, but I wanted to see if there was any special tips or anything I should watch for specifically. I did get the pin kit to lock the cams in position and everything, but
number one,
just wanted to see if I could get some guidance on that. What things I should watch for with it.
That's it. Got to make sure it's in perfect time. Mark everything before you take it apart. Put everything on. Make sure it lines up with those same marks, and the cam locks stay in where they're at. Watch YouTube. Watch a few people do it before you make that repair yourself, and you should be fine.
Watch the whole video.
You watch the whole video and
watch
use a torque wrench. Yep. Use a torque wrench too when you're tightening up those components. And other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It's just mechanical, apart, back together.
I'll watch YouTube videos, and then if it's 10 minutes long, I'm not watching the whole thing.
You can skip around a little bit.
A little bit, but sometimes I really should watch the whole thing, and maybe more than one, but I usually watch the opening and then I start working and just think I got it. Good luck there, Jason. Also, I'm sure this isn't the case, but he said he found this Jeep in the desert. I imagine he came across it and there were bones scattered about, and there was
like Mad Max.
Yeah, there was a briefcase in there with some money, and that's the part he's just leaving out of the call. That's why he can put in all this work, because he found a suitcase full of money in there too. Probably not. That's probably not what the story is.
He'd have somebody else do the repair then.
Hour 2 is coming up. Thanks for listening to the Under the Hood Show.
You're listening to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics, Shannon Nordstrom and Russ the Super Tech Evans. Shannon is an ASE engine and parts specialist, and Russ is an ASE Master Certified Technician with extensive factory drivability training. The Under the Hood Show is heard weekly on this and other great radio stations.
With Russ Evans, this is Shannon Nordstrom, thanking you for tuning in to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show. Have a great day, and remember, PTLA.
The opinions heard on this program, based on the many years of experience of Russ and Shannon, are offered for entertainment value and as a guide to your repair needs. No guarantee to repair or cause is given or implied. Always check with your favorite certified technician and follow all safety procedures before attempting repair. The Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics is reproduced and distributed by Prairie House Productions. Have questions for the Motor Medics? Call our 24-hour toll-free number, 866-594-4150. All content of the Under the Hood Show is the property of Nordstrom's Incorporated. Copyright Nordstrom's Automotive and may be reproduced with our permission.
Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
Welcome to the Under the Hood Show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Thanks for joining us under the hood.
Shannon Nordstrom is not here to answer your automotive questions, but I, Chris Carter, am here to answer your calls at 866-594-4150. We've got calls coming in from all over the country, so let's get right to them. We'll start with Bab. You're on the Under the Hood Show. What can we do for you? Are you there, Bab?
Is this Bob, you said?
Yep, Bob.
Bob. There we go. I got a golden oldie for you. Bought a 2000 Lexus RX 300. Perfect condition except no overdrive. Pulled the pan on it, found pieces and remnants of a snap ring, blah, blah. So it's like, okay, toast. Went and got another transmission that was verified good when it came out of the car. Put that in. I still have no overdrive. It shifts nicely. It's got two VSSs on the bell housing there. Did continuity checks all the way back to the computer. They're good. They're reading good. If you know this car, if you throw a knock sensor code, it will not shift into overdrive. And to try and trick that, I pulled the knock sensors, remounted them remotely. I'm still getting a knock sensor code, and so I therefore will not get overdrive. But the speedometer works, everything else is fine, but no overdrive.
That car computer knows the knock sensor pattern. There's no way to trick it. If you move them to a different location, it sees a different waveform and says, somebody's moved me. It wants them in the original location, and it wants to see a good waveform, a good knock pattern with nothing. Because there's a minimal knock even on a brand new engine. But it knows what that waveform is and is looking for that. If it doesn't see that waveform and the waveform change when it knows it should be knocking, like under a large load with low octane fuel, it says, oh, we should change to this. It throws the code. So you're going to have to fix that part, whatever it is.
And you know where the knock sensors are on there.
Yeah, you got to pull the intake and all that. So that
under the intake buried.
Yeah. So it may be as simple as replacing them. We don't see a lot of things that'll cause a knock sensor code on that car other than the failed sensors and wiring for those.
Okay.
It's
well, I got two new knock sensors, but like I said, I just kind of moved them. I thought, okay, we'll just move them, attach them to a bracket right attached to the engine. But
you get an A for effort because sometimes that'll work. There are kits available to move knock sensors, relocation kits. They don't always work. I mean, some cars it works better than others, but you know the best place, they put them in that intake valley for a reason, because that's the best place to pick up the knock. They were putting them on the outside of the block on each side. Sometimes exhaust and things would get in the way, and they couldn't do it because of the heat, so they started putting them down the center. It makes it really difficult for us that work on those. Mechanics are like, well, I got this sensor. It should be pretty easy. It's just one screw. And it's great once you get two, one screw.
There's no way around it, really.
Yeah.
Right. There's no way for him to,
Like somebody made a good point yesterday. They said, well, how hard is it to put in a rack? There's only 4 bolts, 2 nuts on the tie, one on each tie rod, and then 2 bolts that hold the rack down. Well, don't forget about the 2 lines. Well, how hard is it? About 8 hours.
Ugh.
What? It's like, what do you got to do to get to those
Right.
4 bolts and 2 hoses?
Thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Alexandria, Louisiana, and talk to Kelly. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Kelly, what can we do for you?
Morning, fellas. I got a 2022 Toyota Tacoma, 28,000 miles on it. I've got a squeak in the front end. It sounds like a spring, a big spring. When you're sitting still, it does not make the sound, but just driving down the road, particularly if you have the windows down and you hit a little bump, you can hear it squeaking back and forth. If I get out of the vehicle and get in by the front fender well and rock it back and forth, and it takes pretty good effort to do it when it's sitting still, I can hear that squeak. Just wanted your opinion on that and to see if that's more of a safety issue or just an annoyance.
Does it have a sway bar on the front of it? Do you know?
I don't.
Take a look and
It's
see if
two-wheel drive.
Yep.
Okay.
2-wheel drive, it's probably got a sway bar up there, a stabilizer bar. See if it does, because that stabilizer bar could have some bushings in it that are starting to dry out. That's pretty common. We'll get them to stick and cause an issue with it. A lot of times you get high humidity and then it dries out, and then rain and humidity. I mean, everything you got in your climate can cause this. So it's very likely that's what's squeaking up front. It could be a bushing, a ball joint, something like that. But what we do is we have somebody shake the vehicle while we crawl around and see if we can find the squeak, where it's at. Sometimes we'll open the door, and you shouldn't pull on the door hinges, but sometimes we'll open the door and use that as leverage and just rock it gently back and forth until we can hear it and make that noise and track it down. Something in there is squeaking. Something you should be able to see that's squeaking.
I've got another 2,000 miles before I go in for oil change at the dealership. Is that something I should have checked out before then? I mean, it may be December before I get those 2,000 miles.
If it's been doing it this whole time and hasn't gotten any worse, probably not. It's probably just a clunk that you can feel in the wheel, or a shake or vibration you need to do right away. But if it's got a little squeak, usually not. I mean, you've got to use your own judgment on that, but usually squeaks will go a long time before there's an issue.
One other thing, what about fuel additive for a vehicle like this? 28,000 miles, it'll be 4 years old in December.
Where you're at, one of the fuel additives that would be good for that, you could use the CRC G2P, the guaranteed to pass. It's an emission system cleaner. It works really well at cleaning up carbon buildup and sludge and varnish and stuff like that in the systems, even the catalytic converter to a point. So that would be something you could pick up off the shelf, run in there, that would really clean that up. But with fuel system cleanings, a regular schedule of them is very important. They don't have to be done every single fuel fill up or anything like that, but you keep on a regular schedule to keep it clean. I mean, the manufacturers are even branding some of these themselves because they've had such an issue with carbon in their new engines that they're suggesting to run the additives in their vehicles now.
What's the CRC? And there was some numbers behind.
Yeah, G2P, guaranteed to pass.
Kelly, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
That's all you got to do to fix it? I could have paid a guy $1,000 to do that. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. Let's talk to Chad. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Chad, what can we do for you?
Hey, guys. just an aside to start, I'm with Chris. I'm the guy that watches the first 2 minutes of a YouTube video and think I got it,
Yeah.
and then inevitably have to go back and watch the whole video.
Yep, for sure.
Make sure you press the like button.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I got 2011 F-150, and at about 150,000, it developed this rattling, buzzing noise in the left front that just started driving me nuts. And so I pulled the wheel off and was looking at it, and I thought, that doesn't look so good. And I convinced myself that it was the hub assembly, that something was wrong with that. I pulled the other side off, and I thought, well, boy, these struts look terrible, so I'm going to do the hub assemblies and the struts. Well, okay, great idea. That would not come apart. Somebody had tried to take them struts out before because there was no nut on the bottom bolt of the left front strut. Could not, I had a 3/4 air drive impact on there and could not budge it. Couldn't budge anything under there. Nothing. It was just rusted, locked solid. So, long story longer, I wind up cutting the control arms to get everything out of there, just so that I could get in there and cut the bolts and heat them up and drive them out. And so, finally got all that done. I'll save you the gory details of that battle. But, well, I got all new control arms, all new struts and hub assemblies. Everything worked. The only thing I didn't replace was the steering knuckles. And everything worked fine. It drove fine before I did all this. Put all that in. Took it up to the local Ford dealer. They did a really good job of getting it aligned. Drives fine down the road. Then I went down to my fishing hole. I got down in a little muddy spot. Clicked it into four-wheel drive. And all of a sudden, my left front isn't engaging. It'll just sit there and bzzz, like that little gear isn't getting engaged. And I looked at that vacuum line that goes down to the knuckle. Can't find anything wrong with that. And I'm kind of at a loss as to where to go from here. Did I just get a bad hub assembly, or
maybe because you got to replace the hub and the bearing behind it, the lock behind it. If you don't replace both those together, you're replacing one sprocket and not the other one, so they will strip. But no vacuum puts them into gear. Vacuum takes them out. So if you can unplug it and it works, then the hub is good. But sometimes with them plugged in, you put it in four-wheel drive, instead of the vacuum going away, the solenoid will leak a little bit and provide a little bit of suction on there, and it will lift one side or the other off a little bit, and they'll slip, they'll spin. So if it's, if I was out stuck in the mud and it wasn't going, I would go down there. You could turn the wheel all the way to one side and just unplug the vacuum line. I'd unplug it and see if it would move. If it goes into gear then and goes, I'd get out of where I was, and then I'd go back and find out what's going on with my solenoid there, keeping a little vacuum to that side when there shouldn't be. But that's either you got a vacuum issue where it's dragging, a little suction that shouldn't be there, just some inches of vacuum, or you've got a hub that's worn out, because you need to replace both pieces, the inside with the teeth and the outside vacuum hub itself that has the outer teeth on it. Real common on that.
Yeah, this all came as one piece. All the teeth and everything were in there.
You got both pieces, the outside with the vacuum with the teeth, and then the inside piece that slips over the axle?
Yeah, it all came in one piece.
Sometimes they're separate. You got to buy both pieces separate. But yeah, if it came all in one thing, you want to find out when you take the vacuum off, does it engage? That's probably what you got going on, because it's not likely that part is bad. If the teeth look nice, they're usually fine.
That one seems like an easy.
Yeah, you might not be able
test.
to get it out of four-wheel drive. It may stay locked, but as far as what you're having with it slipping, it's not normal unless it's got vacuum being applied when it shouldn't down there.
Chad, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Georgia and talk to Tim. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Tim, what can we do for you?
Hey, yeah. Two questions for a 2009 RAV4 4-cylinder, 160,000 miles. First question, going to change out the transmission fluid. I've done it once in the past. When I did it in the past, I drained it filled, but I didn't change out. Didn't pull the pan and change the filter. Do y'all recommend that when you do that, that you pull that pan and change the filter?
No, we just drain and refill them. Should be just fine.
Tim, you're not on until I tell you you're on because you sound terrible. So I have you have to continue.
Thought he was on a Borg ship or something. Like, we are the Borg. Background.
Continue. So he should this is just
drain and fill.
Drain and fill.
That's what we would suggest.
Okay.
I don't think you need to pull the filter. It's just screen set up basically in there. I just drain and fill it.
All right,
Very
Tim.
important.
Now I'm putting you back on the air. Be quick because you sound terrible.
Okay. Second question. In the mornings when we crank it up, put it in reverse back out of the garage, it'll have a slight clattering in it that I can hear from the outside, but it can't be heard from the inside. Put it in neutral, clattering goes away. Drive, clattering goes away. Or if it's warmed up, there is no clattering when you put it in reverse. Any ideas?
Yeah, I have no clue. That could be anything.
Could be something very simple.
Yeah.
Heat shield.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, exactly. It could be
Tin
something like
can
that.
in the wheel.
If somebody puts a pop bottle here, do this.
Yeah. So that if he brings that in to a tech,
They'll just listen.
They'll listen and go, oh, that's weird. Let's look under it. Have you looked under it, Tim? Have you crawled under there and taken a look?
No.
Okay.
No, because it only happens when it's cold, and no, I haven't crawled up under it when she's cranked it up and it's in reverse.
Will that tell him anything?
No. Yeah,
okay. Don't do that then, Tim. That was a dumb idea.
Get it on a hoist. Check it out when it's cold.
Oh yeah. And see if it goes without when it's moving, when it's physically when the wheels are turning, right?
Right, exactly.
Oh yeah. Tim, I'm kind of in with you on this one. I feel like we could do this.
At least it's reverse and not drive.
Yeah, no kidding.
Get where you're going.
Good luck, Tim. Sorry we couldn't help you out a little more. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Nebraska and talk to Brad. You're on the Under the Hood Show, Brad. What can we do for you?
Hello, gentlemen. I need some help with an old farm truck. We use it for water and cattle. It's a 1982 Ford F700. It's got a 370 V8 gas burner in it. And what it does, if I water cattle every day, I'm great. If I leave it set for 3 or 4 days, you have to dump gas in the carburetor to get it to start. It's losing its fuel. What do I need to replace?
Well, it might be going right out the bottom of the bowl on that. A lot of times when you take those apart and rebuild them, we would have to, we'd take them apart and we would epoxy the bottom. There was a couple little plugs down there that they would just leak and you'd lose that prime.
Okay.
There's a couple things you can do to that. I mean, you could either keep pouring something in there. You could take it apart and rebuild it and fix it. Or I've seen some people even on the fuel line, the rubber fuel line going to it, not the part by the engine because that gets real hot, but up underneath there, I saw one guy who ran the fuel line up inside and they put a fuel bulb on it like from a boat
and just
to prime it every time.
Oh.
I mean, so I don't want you to do that. That's kind of a nightmare. But they do make very low pressure fuel pumps that are available at most auto parts stores. I got one I bought the other day. It was a 1 PSI electric fuel pump made by Edelbrock. It was about $40. Bought it to test Shannon's Land Rover. We were working on it, and you put that in line, and it's made for a carburetor. It puts out 1 pound, and that's it. It just fills it up. It does its job and makes it work. That's
So
cheaper
then
than taking it apart.
That was a thought, but I was scared, like I said, to put a regular electric fuel pump on. They pump so darn much pressure.
Yeah, too much. You can't do that. You need something that's like 1 PSI that can't overcome the pressure. Because a normal fuel pump, a mechanical one, is about that. 1 to 2, sometimes 3.
Okay.
You want something that's very low
So,
with a regulator sending it back to the tank when it gets over that.
should a guy wire that up like with just like a starter button switch and you just hold it to prime it, or should you just let it run all the time?
Most of the time they're going to run all the time because if you may not be able to pump, you can try it. Just hook it up, and you could have your switch just to prime it, like a push button, doorbell button, Prime
Okay.
it, start it up, and then see if your factory fuel pump will be able to suck fuel through that electric one. Usually they can with that type of pump, but not always. You may not be able to draw fuel through it, and it may cause it to run, start running bad. But if it runs good, just use it for a primer.
Okay.
That's cheaper than pulling the carb off and trying to rebuild it.
Brad, thanks very much for the call. What's an F700?
That's like a
dump truck
they go
size?
150, 250, 350, 450, 550, 650, 700 is a big, like a grain truck.
Okay.
Big truck. Got water in the back for the cattle.
Okay. It's a big one.
Cattle.
I can imagine. I understood that the 150.
Fill up the troughs. Getting a little dry.
866-594-4150. Let's talk to Nate. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Nate, what can we do for you?
Yeah, I'm calling. I have a old 95 Chevy G20 van with a 350 in it. And I've been having issues. You'd be driving down the road at highway speeds, and it acts like it's missing. So I've replaced the plugs, and the cap and rotor didn't change anything.
All right, hold on. I'm going to stop him right there for a second. We'll come back to this one.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick break.
I'll
Nate,
think about it.
Stay where you are. Russ will work through this problem in his head, and then he'll come back to you. 866-594-4150. For the first time today, we don't have a full slate of calls. So if you're listening, it's a great time to call 866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show. 866-594-4150. Don't forget, you can watch the show on our social media channels. And if you subscribe to the YouTube channel and join the Hoodie Fan Club at underthehoodshow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Brittany Keller, congratulations for everybody here under the hood and our friends over at Berkeley One Classics, celebrating 50 years of collector car coverage, and Universal Technical Institute, UTI.edu.
All right, let's go back, talk to Nate. He's got a G20 van. It's got, what's going on with it, Russ?
G20, a little miss on the highway maybe there.
Okay.
Check plugs, wires, cap, rotor. You've got all that replaced. Still misses. Well, you got a couple options. If it's, if it's bogging down, we usually call that a fuel issue. I mean, that's what we see. But if it's actually jerking, like somebody turning the key on and off rapidly, misfire, a lot of times we find the distributor has got issues. The distributors on those were horrible as they aged. They would lose their magnetism and the dwell would get off inside of there and they just wouldn't fire. So you got to replace the whole thing. But finding a good distributor for one of those is very difficult. They're all made in China and they're not very good. So sometimes you need 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 before you get a really good one. When we replace an engine, we do a lot of remanufactured engines and transmissions in our shop. And when we do those, we either just try to replace the module and the pickup coil if the distributor base is good and has good magnetism. In the worst case, we get a whole distributor, and we've had a lot of problems with distributors lately trying to get a good aftermarket one. So we save those factory ones if they still have a strong magnet in the bottom of them and just put a new pickup coil and module in them. But that could be what's going on with it. Hopefully that's what's going on electrically.
The oddest thing. Yeah, I know it's electrical because we've replaced the filter.
Okay.
And I've tried Seafoam and Berryman's and everything else. I thought, well, maybe it's just dirty carburetor or something. No, it's electrical of some kind.
And you did replace the filter.
That's fantastic. Thanks.
In that carburetor, right? The one where the feed. Okay, good. Because that's the one that plugs up a lot.
And you're not going to find an old one. You're not going to find a used one that's working.
No, they're so hard to find those because they haven't made them in years.
Yeah.
And GM doesn't make a good new one anymore. I wish they did.
Nate, good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to John. You're on the Under the Hood Show. John, what can we do for you?
Good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. 1975 Caprice Classic, and that recently had some exhaust work done on it. When I pull up to a stop sign, stoplight, when I'm exercising the car, it vibrates pretty noticeably. When I pop it in neutral, the vibration goes away. What are your thoughts, guys?
It's got a cylinder missing more than likely. Shaking. Might just need a tune-up.
Yes.
Might be time for a good tune-up. we got to find out which cylinder it is.
Okay, because I work at a dealership in town part-time, and they looked at it, and it was suggested I could have a flat spot on my cam.
That's very possible too. They could find that with a couple ways. I mean, they do a compression test, see what the compression looks like, then look at the weak cylinders, pull the rocker arms off, and watch and see if the rockers are moving. If they're not, you can measure them with a measuring device and see how far they open. If they don't open all the way and then close all the way, yeah, you've got a cam that's worn out. And it's possible. That car is old enough. You need to be putting a additive in the oil every single time you change the oil, or the cam will destroy itself. Cam and lifters will be gone very quickly. They've removed all the zinc.
Even with low miles?
Doesn't matter. That's a brand new engine. I've seen a brand new engine destroyed within 2 hours of running by not having the additive in the oil. It just won't. You cannot. The oil does not protect under the high pressure that cam has. That's the highest pressure in that engine. The cam rolling on there, it just can't do it. And if it's already worn, you can't do anything about it other than put a cam and lifters in it, and then put the right oil in it. You've either got to run some kind of oil like a Joe Gibbs racing oil or something like that, Redline racing oil, or put an additive in there. We've got the Justice Brothers, the heavy duty vehicle product. It is a metal conditioner. Mm-hmm. That's what I use in my brand new vehicles to try to prevent wear. But in my old ones, definitely every single one, because they've taken the zinc, the ZDDP out of there. One of my guys in my shop that used to be there used to call it.
Should I try the additive first prior to taking the valve covers?
No. If it's already missing, the additive's not going to fix it. It'll just prevent further wear of the good stuff that's still there. Once something's worn.
You got to figure this out first. And then, are we going to guess the color of this one? This is a classic, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
John, don't say what color it is. We're going to guess. I'm going to go white.
Green.
Green.
It's green, baby.
John, what color is your Caprice Classic?
Well, guys, it's that dark maroon red.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
With a white interior and a white rag top. Beautiful looking car.
Oh, that is.
Still got factory air on it?
Yes, but I have to get some Freon.
Okay. We were just talking about this off of air. I was going to say, Chris, I bet it still works. R12, and it probably still works.
John, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-41.
Smell that car in my head.
I
know. The original, what those cars smelled like new. Even this old, a lot of those still have that. They were so strong, and they're like, we should do that next time we're at Barrett Jackson, and we
blindfold you.
Some, all three of us. We could try it, and then pick an original car that hasn't been restored, and say, okay, sit down. Just all you can do is touch and smell. What is this? It's like a beetle. You'd know exactly what it was.
You could just have me without a blindfold and go look at this car.
What is it?
I wouldn't know. Let's talk to JR. You're on the End of the Hood Show, JR. What can we do for you?
Yes. Good morning. I love the show.
Thanks.
I've got a 2010 Silverado. It has 180,000 miles on it, but it's in beautiful shape. I got all the service records from previous owner. So I know what the history is. Here's my problem. When I first started up in the morning, I had this problem when I first got it. I ran a strong injection cleaner through it, and it seemed like it straightened out. And I put on about 1,500 miles since then. But just recently, when I started cold in the morning and go to back out of the garage, there'll be a little jerking. I don't know if it's transmission or if it's the engine, but after it's run for 3-4 minutes, it's just fine. I can drive it the rest of the day and no issues. But it's that initial cold startup, and I'm just wondering if you have any idea if there's something I could do to remedy that, or if that's an issue that's a concern.
It might just be a dirty fuel system if it's only on a cold startup.
Okay.
And if it starts, does it start right up, but it misses a little bit?
It starts right up, and it doesn't jerk until I put it in drive. I can start it right up and it'll still idle right away. It has new plugs, new wires, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it might just be a little bit of
again, it's just
fuel system.
go ahead.
Yeah, I think it might just be a little bit of fuel system. The pump sounds like it's probably good because it fires up right away. And then in gear
Yeah,
or
it
out
does.
of gear, it's going to be high idle, so it's going to kind of overcome. But when you put it in gear and it drops down, when it's cold until it warms up and then it goes away, that sounds likely like it could be a fuel system thing. And you could try some fuel system cleaner in there. Try the CRC Guaranteed to Pass fuel system cleaner. That's one I would suggest using. You could pick up at home off the auto parts shelf. Put that in there, run it for a couple tanks, see if that cleans it up. If that does not do it, you'll need to get it in a shop where they can look and do a little further diagnostic and possibly do a professional fuel system cleaning to it if they find out it's got carbon buildup and sludge in the fuel system.
Could he do that just right off the bat if he wants to? Is
Oh,
that
sure.
that's going to be a good move no
Sure.
matter what?
Tune-up stuff. You go in, have them look at it, do a tune-up if it needs it. He said they put spark plugs and stuff in it. But check those things, see what they look like. Just make sure everything looks like it's in good state. Get the scanner out. Look and see what the scanner says. That can give you a lot of info too.
That'll show you live data, what's going on in there.
For sure.
Jared, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
Helping you make your car run good. This is Under the Hood with the Motor Medics.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Wisconsin and talk to Jason. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Jason, what can we do for you?
Hey, I've got a 2013 Nissan Titan, and it runs and drives fine, but every so often while I'm driving it, I'll be driving it for a distance, and then I'll pull in somewhere, and it'll just die. And it'll so I'll pull in somewhere, I'll put it in park, and it'll idle down and just it's just like I shut it off, but I didn't shut the key off. Sometimes it'll let me start it right back up like nothing happened. Sometimes I'll start it and it'll die again, and it'll do that 4, 5, 6 times, and then it'll be fine and go away, and I won't have any issues for a couple of months. And I'm just not sure where to start with it. It's got about 113,000 miles on it, so it's not crazy for mileage. But just trying to see what kind of a idea or starting point I should have to look at for that.
I think a shop should take a look and see, look at your general tune-up stuff on those, but we've seen a few of those that have had some fuel pressure issues that were causing that. But if it doesn't have any sluggishness out on the highway and the mileage and everything's good, it might have a throttle body problem. We've had some of those that could not keep the idle where they should with the throttle body, so it would die, and they wouldn't learn their idle position. They would keep failing and going back to default. So they would relearn, work for a while, but then other times they would just shut off because it would just choke the air off. It would close completely. Now, that's one possibility that could be going on here, is that the throttle body's not working. What you could try, maybe verify that a little bit while it's warmed up and idling, and you're in a parking lot where you think that it might die. With it in park, just go out there and tap on that throttle body with your hand a little bit. If it dies, or if you move the wiring on a little bit and it dies, then that throttle body's definitely bad. But sometimes just giving a little light tap like you're knocking on a front door and say, hey, anybody home? If that kills it, then it's definitely got a problem inside with the potentiometers, and it just can't work, can't go. This is an issue with these parts.
Okay. Is there anything so from a preventive standpoint other than the throttle body? Is there, like, I don't hear much about the Titans for like coil packs or anything like that. Is that a possibility that sometimes with these they could do that? Or
for sure, our partner over at Standards makes coil packs because they're a huge issue on these. We do a lot of coil packs, spark plugs, general tune-up items. It happens. Yeah, you don't see a lot. There's not maybe a ton of people that are posting out there about the problems with them, but they're doing them. I think a lot of times since they either fail or they fail at an irregular number. And if it's just normal failure, they're like, oh, it's just a tune-up. I'm not going to go complain to people about it because it's got 150,000 miles on it.
In his case, if it is those, it could just be a tune-up. It could be just a wear item at this point.
You will see them if it's like a Ford Escape and they fail at 40 or 50,000 miles. People are like really frustrated. And then they happen again at 40 or 50 and they're like, what is going on? So those you'll see. But with the Nissan, it's regular. 150, 160,000 is really common. We replace them all.
Does that help you out there, Jason?
Do you usually replace them as a set?
Oh, yeah.
Do you usually replace those as a set? Yes.
Yeah, I do, because if we do one, we're going to have another one shortly and then another one shortly. So we just do the set because it's a wear age thing.
Yeah, even if you don't need to, you're going to need to eventually. That'll just be the way it goes. Jason, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Going to Colorado. Talk to Brian. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Brian, what can we do for you?
Hey guys, I love the show.
Thanks.
So I've got a 2006 Jeep Commander. It's got that 5.7 Hemi in it, and I'm having a little AC troubles. Whenever I'm driving, it seems to blow cold just fine. Come to a stop, stoplight or whatever, you're idling. Compressor just kind of seems like it just want to shut off on you.
Are you being attacked by a bobcat right now?
Parrot.
What's going on in the background there?
I might be.
Okay.
I'm at the stop right now, so you might have a little bit of noise here.
Right.
Oh, sounds like
Cover your neck.
Yeah.
Does it compress? Can you see the compressor turning, or is it stopping turning?
Oh, it seems to be stopping turning. It just kind of like acts like the engine's going to stall on it.
Okay.
But it doesn't fully stall. It just kind of stops the compressor.
It might not be getting any airflow. Down the highway, you got wind blowing through there to keep it cool. But if you're stopped and you've just even got a dirty condenser between the condenser and the radiator, you don't have enough airflow. The pressures are going to go way high, and when that happens, it's going to cause more load on the compressor, and it's going to stop turning. So and it'll burn that clutch up and kill the whole AC system. Be very expensive pretty quick. So first step, I would make sure the cooling fan's working properly when you're parked at idle. When the AC's on, that fan should be roaring, and you make sure there's complete airflow between that radiator and the condenser. It's got to be completely clean. A lot of times, if people look on the outside, they'll be spotless, but when you take the cover off and look between the two, it's completely blocked with like cottonwood trees,
helicopters,
those things
from the trees. Yeah,
all that stuff. Yeah, make sure that's got good airflow because that'll raise the pressures in the AC and not only destroy it, but first symptom is what you're having.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. We actually have a new condenser. I think they replaced just about everything in that AC system.
Make sure the fan's
I'm
working.
just wondering if there's anything I might have missed.
Yeah, if they replaced all of it, make sure the fan's working good. You got to have good airflow at idle when you're stopped.
Yeah, and there's all the things we just said, and all the things you just said, and also the fan might not be working correctly.
Yeah.
So it's just
should be clean if they just put a condenser in it. It better be.
Brian, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Going to Massachusetts and talk to John. You're on the End of the Hood Show. John, what can we do for you?
How you doing? I just got to take you off speaker here.
All right. You take your time.
Yeah, I've got a 1997 Mustang V6. It's got 250,000 miles on it. Doesn't owe me a penny, but anyways, I've got a flashing OD light, overdrive. I can feel when it happens. I can feel the clutches or whatever it is in the transmission give a little bit of a jerk when it shifts gears, but it doesn't happen all the time. This is something that you think a transmission filter and fluid change would help.
I doubt it. I would get a scanner and find out why that's on. Check it when it's flashing. Look at it. That's a check engine light for your transmission. It's a service transmission soon.
Yep.
It's telling you what's wrong with it. It's telling you, hey, we got a code in here. Scan it and then find out what that code is. It could be a solenoid that's failing or something like that. That's what you want because then you can just replace the solenoid. And at that point, I would also flush it if you are changing the solenoid, always flush the transmission, put a new filter in it. But I don't think just changing the filter and fluid is going to help without finding out what that code is first.
Okay. All right. Would do you need like a professional style scanner for the
No.
transmission codes, or would that come up? No.
Should
Okay.
pop up on an OBD2 reader for a transmission powertrain
Yeah, I've
code.
got one. I've got one pretty like mid range. Not a.
Yeah, that
real
should do it.
expensive one, but not
That
a
should
cheap
read
one
your
either.
trans.
Okay.
There you go. John, thanks very much for the call. What year did the retro, I ask this all the time, what year did the retro Mustang come back? It always surprises me at how long ago it was. Is that like
96?
No. Really? No. No.
I have a picture of Mustangs in my head. Okay, we got 80, 89, 90, 94. I think it's 96. 95. Look it up.
Can't be.
4.
Let's go to Oklahoma and talk to Mike.
4. I'm saying 4. I'm sticking with 4.
94?
Yeah.
No way. That can't be. All right. All right. Enough of that.
Oh, wait. It's
Mike,
even earlier than that.
let's go back. No, it's not.
Yeah, I know somebody who bought one. I got to put some things together here.
We're going to Oklahoma. You stop doing that because you have to pay attention
the
to Mike.
94, and it came out in 93.
Let's
Let's
talk
see.
to Mike in Oklahoma. Mike, you're on the end of the hood show. What can we do for you?
Hi, Chris Russ. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, it's back-to-back weeks for me. I appreciate you in the show a lot. This time working on my nephew's 2012 GMC Canyon with a 5.3. Engine light was on. Put the scanner on it. Had a P0523 full pressure sensor, circuit high voltage. So I got a GM pressure sensor and the little filter that goes below it. I pulled it out last night, and surprisingly, it was easy to get to. That was a blessing on that. I had more trouble just kind of getting the electrical connector off, but I, of course, got that. So I pulled it off, and there was not that screen, that filter below the sensor. I went ahead and put it back on, but I thought, I'll just call you guys today, right?
Yep.
Should I put the screen back? Because it was, like I said, I think someone pulled it out sometime, right? It's got, I don't know if I mentioned it has 181,000 miles on it, but he got it a couple of years ago, somebody else. But anyway, so you give thumbs up on putting a screen back in.
Yeah, the screen is important to keep the junk out of it and try to make that thing last longer. So get it all cleaned out, passage cleaned out really good, and then put the screen in it, put it together.
Okay, that is exactly what I'll do. I appreciate that.
Standard, our partner that makes those units, they make them with a screen, and they're very adamant about putting the screen in there. They wouldn't go to think of how much that screen is pretty cheap, right? Maybe it costs $1, but they're making hundreds of thousands of those. They wouldn't put them in there and spend that money if they didn't think it was going to prevent warranty failures. And warranty failures just is an easy way of saying it might break when you put it in. You don't want that. So if you want it to last longer, use the screen.
Okay, will do.
There you go. Mike,
appreciate it.
Thanks very much for the call. I think we might both be right.
So did it come out in 93, but it's a 94 model?
The fourth generation was 94, and it
came out in 93, right?
It just says 1994. I'm just looking at the model years. And I think you might think that is different than I do. For me, I think I'm thinking of the fifth generation, which was 05. That makes more sense.
They did change what they put in the 94 model was the Mach 1 69 tail lights.
That's when they started going back to the first generation styling. But I think I'm thinking of the 05.
You're thinking of the newer where they really made a jump. That first one, I wasn't as fond of that as the newer ones.
Let's go to Mark real quick. We got just a couple minutes left. Mark, what can we do for you?
Hello, guys. I've got a 2010 Acura MDX that I've got a couple issues with. Got 149,000 miles on it. I've got a DLR check system, and we had the light replaced. It worked for about 2 weeks, then it went out again. The funny thing about it is that it comes on when we turn the lights on. But if you're just running DRL, the daylight running lights, it doesn't come on. But it does come on when you turn the lights on.
Something's shorted in there. I mean, the first thing I would do is check all the light bulbs, make sure every single light bulb on the exterior of that car works properly. If it doesn't, that can cause weird issues like that. But if they're all perfect and they all work high, low beam, DRLs, everything is operating like it should, it's going to need to go into a repair shop and be looked at because something bigger is going on in that system electrically, and I'd have no idea where to start without
scanning it,
looking at it, and seeing what's going on. But we do often find something as simple as a light bulb that is failing. Like, let's say you turn the headlights on and you look and say, hey, one side's brighter than the other, even though we're on low beam, and I do have high and low separate. Bulb might be shorted inside, causing that. So,
and it can happen it can happen where you wouldn't even know, where it's doing it.
Oh yeah, just to shorten the bulb resistance has changed.
Yeah,
and that's giving you a warning inside, like a check engine light for your headlights.
Yeah, kind of, right?
Yeah, it's a service system warning light.
Mark, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. All right, that's going to do it for the Under the Hood Show. Until next time, you can find us at underthehoodshow.com. Next week, is Shannon back?
Shannon's back next week.
Okay.
And then we're here.
Yep.
We're here all weeks.
That's right. I think so.
Yep.
Except for we got one coming up that we won't. You might. We won't.
Oh, no. You know what? We're going to do a best of show.
All right, we got to go. Bye. Yeah. All right.
It's October.
There you go. We're ready. That's it. That's it for the show. We got right. We got nothing to.
It's October. We're gone, right?
Yeah.
That's the best of show week.
The 16th. I think it's the 16th.
Yeah.
Because we all have stuff we can't get out of or don't want to get out of.
That's it. That's right. Because Shannon's going to be inducted as the president of the ARA, Automotive Recyclers Association.
Yeah.
And he'll already be down there for that, and you're gone to something really cool.
I got cool stuff to do,
and I'll be going down there for something cool. Yeah. So I'll be leaving about the same time the show. It's like I don't know if I'd make it if I try to rush out of here. I'm not going to do a Shannon and try to rush out of here at the last minute and get to the airport 30 minutes before my flight. I'm a 2-hour before guy.
Well, because he's not good at the 2 hours even.
No.
And then he goes, oh, I have an hour. But it's not an hour when it's his hour.
No. You have a his hour or you have a regular hour? Yeah.
All right. That'll do it. Thanks, everybody. Hit subscribe and like and do all the stuff. We would appreciate it very much.
Yeah.